What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review the debut album by American rapper Coolio. Based this product is called It Takes a Thief, and it came out in the summer of 1994. So the fair about this album, this is a request I wanted to get around to by Rush On as far as these fairs can happen, but excellent within the pitch as far as saying this particular album is more or less known for like the megaton hit off this album, which was Fantastic Voyage, a top 3 single on the Billboard 100 back in the 90s. Definitely pretty excellent 90s staple pitches like that, but apparently that was a hit from like the 80s as well that it got sampled from as far as those pitches going to happen. But definitely within the pitch of its excellence here. So this is a particular G-funk type album with an aspect, real sheer type tone and velocity within those pitches as far as those formats going to happen. Just very much within a similar type fashion. Another album that came out around this time that was dominating with the G-funk type sound pitches like that, like Cali Grind and some of those type pairs would be the Regulate G-funk era by Warren G. It's kind of within excellent type pitches of that. This is like an excellent 1-2 punch to get both these, and then add to the top it off, then add things to the spice to top it off, like Leftover Vibes of Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style from late 93 pitch like that. It was just some excellent type pairs, just a blockade of particular kick-ass kind of West Coast type albums, pitches like that. But Coolio always did manage to at least get 1 or 2 hits off of each of his albums back in like the mid-90s, pitches like that. Now, I recently reviewed his 1997 album, which I think was called My Soul or something like that within those pitches, definitely within the ordeals, some excellent type pitches. But this is a bona fide classic here as well within these aspects, definitely pretty extentful, kind of dynamite as far as those pairs are going to happen. Really, this is kind of revolutionary within the sense as well. It just kind of has the pitch of just capitalizing on like a predominant kind of California sound, as like so many albums around that time. And another one that was kind of classic around that time was the Mr. Het, the Funky Headhunter album by MC Hammer came out around this time, despite the fact that that kind of had haphazard reception. And still within the pitch of these were some dynamite type ones from the West Coast. There were plenty of these within these ordeals. Just being able to say Coolio was no exception as far as these fairs can happen. So it's just excellent within the pitch as far as getting towards it. It's a real excellent time for California pitches like that. It was kind of within the ordeal. So the unfortunate thing about this album is just the fact that Fantastic Voyage was the only real true song that charted that heavily within the pitch. It was kind of strange because particularly Fantastic Voyage was a top 3 single like I was saying, but the other 3 singles off this album didn't chart whatsoever, apart from like the bubbling under 100 type singles pitches like that. So this is kind of the ordeal. If I had to guess, it's just kind of the fair that it's more the sample about Fantastic Voyage, and it's the same thing that kind of happened with Gangsta's Paradise. Coolio was pretty good at grabbing like real excellent type samples, pitches like that, similar to Puff Daddy, but it's kind of the pitch that when you think of those particular type ones, having like an excellent sample that really covers something that's really successful is kind of difficult within a pitch, because folks get used to that particular song and then they want something that's as trend-setting. Most of the time, folks want something that's as trend-setting and as surprising as that particular song within those pitches. I definitely think the variety about Fantastic Voyage is pretty excellent, but expecting Coolio to kind of capitalize and find another one within those tangents or just anything within those particulars is kind of maybe not as full-bound within the atmosphere kind of it with his first album. It's not to say like he couldn't do it, but it's just kind of pitch as far as saying I do think there's some other excellent type moments on here. Same thing with Gangsta's Paradise. That was a real bona fide type one, just G-funk and gangster rap from California, definitely in its prime in like the fall of 95 pitch like that, but it's just kind of the ordeal that most of the other singles from that album weren't given too much of a terrific chance. It's not within the fair saying that Coolio doesn't have further hits. It's kind of the fair that just it's more signature to like the anchor of the album more so than the pitch actually saying that it's because he didn't have other ones. It's kind of the pitch that in terms of like the casual type play. I mean, and it's probably within the aspect, I would think on top of that, just with so many of these type ones, I mean, it's easy to swap out Coolio within this particular album, the other 3 singles off this album, some of these type of ones, like County Line, I Remember, and Mama, I'm in Love with the Gangsta. Some of these type ones sound just like MC Hammer, and particularly Warren G, some of those type folks, and Nate Dogg and Snoop Dogg within those pitches. It's kind of within the format of being able to separate the difference as far as it just not so much being generic kind of West Coast hip hop, but just within the pitch, it just not interchangeable. It just feels like a token West Coast rapper within those pitches, but not to say that in a foul sense, because you know this album's going to get a 10 out of 10 pitches like that, but it's just kind of ordeal as far as saying it's just the casual type fair. But I look after here within these pitches, this is within the fair. So there were 4 singles off this product. Like I said, the only real one that charted whatsoever for the most part in a heavy type sense was this Fantastic Voyage, which was the 3rd single. But looking after here, County Line is a nice one as well within these products. It's like a typical County Line, is like a typical kind of bleary out and about, I'd say, within the pitch behind it here. Just some Cali makeshift, I'd say, within the aspect. Just typical type fare, good, excellent product of that. It's like some neighborhood kind of jaunt and smokes as far as those fares kind of happen. So just excellent within the pitch as far as getting towards that fare. Feels just like MC Hammer and Warren G within those pitches as far as those fares happen. So just excellent within the product of it, kind of excellent within the product of it, just kind of the particular fare of just something. It really feels very 90s-esque within the product. I mean, just the typical, I mean, it was within the format as far as saying as this album did come out. It makes sense that this album is kind of a 90s staple within these pitches, but it's just kind of the fair as far as in that some of these type fairs just feel like Cali Sunshine as far as these pitches can happen. Apparently, folks have said that Coolio had more of like a humoristic type tone within it as far as these pitches can happen. It's just kind of the aspect of just kind of having like more or less kind of a good alternative within the pitch to Snoop Dogg. Some of these type pitches kind of within the same aspect as MC Hammer, some of those type fairs. And probably Warren G was like this. There just were some ones within these pitches as far as like the fair just having like healthy, kind of almost marketable, but it's this kind of pitch that for the reason, just within the aspect behind it, these singles just didn't get picked up with enough kind of airplay within the pitch spawn. But it's not a bad product, just kind of fair as far as saying. Just definitely typical kind of Cali radio pickups as far as this pitch comes. So just excellent with the pitch. I think these probably did get spins locally, pitches like that, but it's just excellent ordeal. So it's just some classicness within the G-Funk type fair. I remember it's the second single. It's the quality one. It's like a drunken and floaty kind of gold day, I'd say, within the aspects of it here. Just some slumpage, I'd say, definitely within pitch. It's really feeling slumped out. Some of those type products are really having some drink in your system. Some of those type fairs that just neighborhood crawls, some of that type aspect. Just typical kind of slummish strolls, I'd say. Good for Fritos and errands, pitches like that within those tones about it. There is a lot of neighborhood kind of struts and fairs within this aspect of this album. A lot of this is just weaving kind of in and out within some of these type pitches. The snack runs, the slummish kind of bops, some of these type Travers type ones. There's some commerce songs on here like County Line and Fantastic Voice, some of these type ones, but there's just as many within the product. I do feel like I Remember is kind of like Coolio's version of It Was a Good Day by Ice Cube. Some of those type pitches, not quite as classic within not quite as earth-shattering within the appeal, but definitely pretty excellent within the pitch of being within that same variety as like that Ice Cube classic as far as those fairs. I'm just kind of a drunken type one to kind of have like the aspect of just like Gold Eyes, some of those type fairs within a slump type fashion, just typical kind of strolls pitches like that. Basically just like the 90s version, like Kendrick Lamar's kind of Good Kid, Mad City type fairs, some of those type pitches just within the product, but just, Coolio obviously did this 20 years before that within those fairs. This is kind of pitch as far as some of those type tones, but yeah, just typical kind of Cali classic. Real floaty typeness, some of those type fairs. Just feels, in certain senses, this kind of feels like the West Coast type variation, like Nas's Illmatic, some of these type fairs, just to say Nas kind of had like these boom bap type ones and kind of more bass heavy, kind of more floaty, kind of buzzed as hell, kind of floaty type ones within the pitch. There are some ones on here that have that particular product. Another one like that would probably be like You Know Who in some of these type pitches, some of these type fairs, Sticky Fingers, some of these type ones. Ghetto Cartoon, I'd have to say, but there's some excellent type pitches. But Fantastic Voyage, just the anchor of this album, is real excellent type of appeal with this one. Top 3 single on the Billboard 100, like I was saying. Probably within certain senses, it's very likely that a lot of folks that probably heard this particular song is to stand out. Pretty much, more or less, probably like the second most popular song by Coolio nowadays within these pitches, within these aspects. But this kind of pitch as far as saying, it was pretty excellent staple and good timing within these pitches. It's like a classic 90s bounce and wop as far as those pairs going to go along with it. This reminds definitely of Montel Jordan and MC Hammer, some of those type folks in pitches. Like typical kind of Cali Sunshine, some of those type aspects. Just really feeling some doo-wop to your It's really feeling some California sunshine and doo-wop to your step within these pitches as far as these formats can happen. Just vehicle, bounce to ounce type format pitches like that. Just good for some gym type runs, pitches like that. Just get fit and some of those type things that you would think when you think of songs like This Is How We Do It and songs by MC Hammer off the Funky Headhunter, some of these type pitches. Just great song to ride out to within songs that pairs. Just appreciate like the Cali Sunshine, some of those type products are just surfing. So what you see is what you get here. Just California in its prime, 1994 pitch like that. Just the banner type here with some of these type products. Just really nailed the appeal. This typical type formats. Just a good, excellent type fair. Just something within that fashion. Another California staple when Snoop Dogg and MC Hammer and Warren G. Some of those type folks get tiresome within those pitches. And Dr. Dre and Ice Cube. Mama, I'm in Love with a Gangsta, the 4th single here. Is a good, nice one, as well as like a drooping kind of neighborhood crawls, kind of get within the tones behind it, within the pitches of it, and it's like some snack run type music, definitely Smoke Nice, I'd say within these fairs. It's kind of a sunny type one. This particular fair just feels like an excellent kind of California type crawl within these aspects as far as those tones going to happen in this neighborhood, kind of red cup type noise pitches like that. There's some definite ones on here that remind of like Too Short's The Ghetto song from 1990 as far as those pitch gaps. So just that typical kind of drooping type funk. There's plenty of drooping type songs on here for like a Cool Cat, kind of Pink Panther type vibe pitches like that within those aspects as far as those tones going to happen. Just real sluggish motions and pitches like that, just kind of within the fair, just slow move pitches like that. Just really the aspect of this very sloth-like within those pitches as far as those pitches happen, but just enjoying the affluence of it, just with plenty of drink and smoke in your system. Definitely pretty thrilling type product within the tone, just like California bops. This is pretty recreational type fair. This is the full-bound example of like a house party sleaze type product within these pitches. Just really enjoys like the fair. This excellent type product of weaving in and out between house parties, swinging vine to vine with some of those within those pitches as far as those formats kind of happen. Swinging vine to vine with some of those within that type format as far as those pitches kind of goes. So it's just excellent type fair. Yeah, I recommend every song on this album, so 10 out of 10 within these pitches. There's 16 songs on here, recommend all of these. So it's just the pitch as far as saying, so some of these type ones, Like Can of Corn's a quality one. Then this is the most straightforward type one, but it's excellent type pitches as well as like a homebound and cleanup tune to kind of get within the products of it here. Just straightforward and steadfast, I'd say, within the pitch. Just some of those type areas, just get some house tasks done, pitches like that within those particular products about it. Just very productive within the pitch as far as those tones are. Not super productive, but just kind of within the pitch, just steadfast within the aspect of it. Just kind of the fair, just it's kind of some domain centering pitches like that within those ordeals as far as those tones go. Just excellent type song for when you're stoned, some of those type products. Now, within the fair, more of the composition about this song has less about actually being stoned about it, but it's just kind of within the pitch. If you do have like these house cleaning type moments within the fair, just not having like the boredom of where it has to be that fastidious, but it's just, I mean, most of this album's pretty smoke centric anyways within the pitch, but it's just another good nice one, and insert some smokage in there. So just within the fair, just not having, just in case things get too boring within those pitches as far as those fairs can happen. So it's just within the fair. It Takes a Thief, the title track, is a quality one as well. It's like a night shift kind of out and around, I'd say, within the pitch behind it. Just mission and hustle kind of music zones type fairs, just kind of within the weaving typeness. Yeah, just kind of more night shift within the aspect, just like the tone of disc. That like some of these type ones are more day shift within like 4 o'clock. There's plenty of songs on here. There's a good several songs out this album that have like the 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock p.m. Orange Skies kind of ness, but this is one more miss like the night shift within the product. Just more 10 o'clock, just within the goings on, just kind of some night missions, get some things done within the product, whether it is hustlers activity or just more street activity pitch like that. Was just some good type fairs, just some smokes in between it as far as those pitch can happen. So just kind of the product of this, kind of like a way back in 1994 type version of like some sort of like the sort of snack run type music that 3-6 Mafia would do throughout the 2000s and late 90s pitches like that. But just kind of the ordeal as far as getting towards some of these type ones, just the weaving of just like street outings pitches like that, and this other rugged, this urban crawls, some of those type pitches within the format. Bring Back Something for the Hood is a nice one as well. This like an outing hop around, I'd say, within the pitch behind it here. Just some pick-me-ups, I would definitely say. Beer and newspaper, some of that pitch is just local kind of jaunts, getting some pickups within those aspects as far as those tones going to go. Just an Aaron Bop. This kind of pitch, like, I mean, like the song says, this kind of product of just homie sending you on some sort of run, just those particular fairs are just getting towards it. It's kind of some social outing type fair within the product of just more type things, whether it is just drugstore type music or just the town crawl sounds type pitch within the real tough type format. Now within the fair, this being 1994, it's just within the pitch, but supposing drugstores and some of those type places, just the typical type product where you pick up newspapers and, you know, standard supplies pitches like that would kind of be around gas station runs within certain type sense. Just the product like some town hop kind of sense, mild with that. It's really not that much like a full-bound kind of city album, and it doesn't have like a super ton of real night venue type songs, but it is very much amidst the pitch, like it is very much amidst the pitch of like neighborhood crawls pitch like that within some type aspects. So just excellent type tone for some of those. Hand on My Nutsack is a quality one within these pitches. Now, Hand on My Nutsack is a quality one within these pitches. It's like a spastic and low-key kind of schizo neighborhood bop around to kind of get within the tone as far as these pitches kind of go. Just some just Cypress Hill like when you think of songs like Insane in the Brain, some of those type pitches within those fairs. Lick Shot, some of those type ones within the particular type form, just real spastic. Definitely reminds of Cypress Hill from '93. Some of those type ones just within probably within certain extents, like How I Could Just Kill a Man too. Some of those type ones that just feels the real schizo type aspect where you're gonna have some smokes in your system. Whole particular album has smokish type fare within this, but this is just a real nice one for like some crank typeness to really get tore up to within pitch like that. Just kind of out and around, just feeling wired. You Know Who's a real excellent type one on here, and definitely in terms of house party type sense. Now, it's not to say this album doesn't have house party type appeal, because most of this album has smoke type fare, like I said, but this is a real nice one for like the actual product, like some gatherings, some of those type fares. It's like a cool cat kind of house party bopping, I'd say, within the pitch behind it here. Good slump kind of combo with Fantastic Voyage, some of those songs like that, and it's like a real nice one to smoke nice too. Pitches, some of those type fares just have definitely to have hella shots as far as those aspects going to have. So just miss the pitch as far as saying some of those type ones. Now, Coolio had songs like this on his '95 album, songs like Got Kinda High, Got Kinda Drunk, some of these type pitches, but just within the format as far as saying getting towards the go around within the pitch of just like having some fraternized commotion. So there are the ones for like the goings around, the more strut type ones, but this is kind of one with more commotion, with like powwow type in mind, with more house party type appeal, where there's going to be kegs or red cups, some type pitches within the fair. So excellent type product. Smoking Sticks is obviously within the fair of what that particular song purveys, is just smoke. What that particular song conveys, which is the smoke type fashions about it. It's like local struts and homies dap and release kind of have within these products here. Just excellent type product for some of those type getting loud type tones, pitches like that. Story Time, definitely a great product for story time pitches like that, having some homies that got some shit to say within those aspects as far as like some extra gab pitches like that within those tones. Definitely good for game night, some of those type fairs, whether it's PlayStation or just basketball games, some of those type pitches within the format. Excellent type fair, and it's a great song to get crunk to. There's another type commotion within the product of it, not quite. It's kind of more focused on the smoking compared to You Know Who, but just the product of just further type social type ones within these aspects, within the full bum ballisticness of it. Sticky Fingers is a quality one on here, definitely within these pitches, within the excellence of it as well. It's like a greasy kind of Sticky Fingers like a greasy kind of in between slummish goings, kind of homey smoke break and jive, I'd say, within the product as far as these tones going to go. Just some Cali glaze to definitely get here. Sticky Fingers is a good combination with Smoke and Sticks, some of those type ones within the product. It's more outdoor type fest, but within pitches like that. It's kind of some weaving and socialized within the product like Smoke type products. So just in typical kind of excellent neighborhood noise within those products of it. Thought You Knew is a quality one within these pitches. Definitely blistering type fares, like an electro kind of evening rounds kind of get within the products of it here. Just Thought You Knew is a pretty excellent one on here as well within these pitches, like an electro kind of evening rounds bounce kind of have within the product. This could have been a single, some of that fare is just some pep to your step, I would definitely say within pitch behind it, some going. So just within pitch, like some venue type fare pitches like that, kind of one. Has the same sort of aspect within electricity as like Fantastic Voyage, but just a little bit more dance centric in mind within some of these type products. So it's good to get Coolio on like a more rhythmic type one within the pitch. Kind of having some commercial type aspects with more in like a pop type sense. Not to say full bound like there's a problem with the G-Funk, but just kind of a pitch as far as one that kind of has like some dance bounce to kind of bust and move some of those type products within it. On My Way to Harlem is a nice one within these aspects as well. It's like an excellent kind of foot tap and venue sludge kind of get here. Just some droopy eyes and groove as far as this pitch kind of happen. Just a groove hit, I would definitely say here. Very illy type song. So this is the product, something that kind of reminds of like what Outkast kind of did with their ATLians album from 1996. Some of those type pitches within the form. Definitely some strip club kind of sludge. Some of those type products within the aspects as far as those tones going to go. Definitely a great song to have hell of 40 ounces in your system and some pretty good chocolate tire, some blueberry weed, some pitches like that within those aspects as far as those tones can happen just within a fair, just like heavy smoke type products. Definitely getting some Tropicana weed and some Bin Laden, definitely getting like some Tropicana weed and some Bin Laden, some pitches like that as far as those pairs can happen. So excellent type fare. Ghetto Cartoon is a nice one as well. It's like a glazed commerce and sniggering type song kind of within aspects here. Just few many smokes within those pitches. Just the tone as far as saying just the aspect where the smoking's starting to get to you within the product. Just things are starting to get funny. So those type fares. It's the embalmment and the enjoyment of like the usage as far as the space can happen, but within a responsible type sense within the fare, obviously within the pitch. But this like some good social head trips and gabs as far as those fares can happen. So getting your laughs, getting your yucks, some of the stuff here is just having the enjoyment with pals is a good dap and socialized type product, kind of within a comical type sense, but excellent type product as far as those pairs can happen. Just a good, nice one to kind of be lackadaisical to and just meme around as far as those pitch kind of go. I think the last one there's a couple more I haven't talked about, one of which is Ugly Bitches, the other one is In the Closet, so I'm going to talk about In the Closet first. In the Closet is like a basic kind of Aaron and Bill pay run to kind of get within the products here, just some slummish. The song is kind of slummish, it reminds of like Too Short, The Ghetto, those particular pitches from like the early 90s type days, just some Sunbleed as far as those pairs going to go. It's another drooping type one, like On My Way to Harlem, and some of these type pitches within format, and You Know Who, some of these type pitches within the fair. So excellent type products for that. And Ugly Bitches is a nice one as well. It's like a day shift kind of strut and extra time, I'd say, within the products of it here. Just some politicking and powwow type songs, like some politicking and powwow type music within the pitch as far as those pairs can happen. This is good for floozies, some of those type aspects with the neighborhood type crawls. Not so much full bound kind of hood rats, but just within the pitch, it's more, not to say chicken heads either, but just kind of more floozy type music, just kind of within the aspect of neighborhood type divas within the pitch that just neighborhood hoochies and floozies that are just more consistently battled within those pitches as far as the format's going to happen, but not to say that in a negative type sense, but just the pitch is just saying, positive type floozies, some of those type fares, but just kind of some baskins as far as those fares can happen. So just excellent within the pitch. Just get the smoke type fashions going within some of those type products as far as those tones can happen just within the fare as far as like the tear up and things like that. It's actually a pretty balmy type one. Ugly Bitches has a particular kind of airy breeze about it just within the standard fare, just possibly more like, midday pitches like that, more a little bit past lunch rush, some of those type of ordeals, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock p.m. pitches like that. But most of the sound, like I was saying, has more evening type theme about it, but just kind of the fare, just neighborhood kind of politic and some of those type forms to just figuring out some next moves, the drops and pitches like that as far as those tones can happen. So I look at the pitch. Recommend all 16 of the songs of this album, so 10 out of 10 score. The social score I'm going to go ahead and give probably like a 9.5 out of 10 now. Within the quality behind it, it's probably easier to say it probably would be a 10 out of 10 within the fare, but it's just the factoid that the single variety out this album really is designated to more or less this Fantastic Voyage. That's going to be the anchor of this album, probably the vast majority of what most folks are going to make a beeline for, which is unfortunate, but unless you get to the fare of really having some folks designated to Coolio, it just seems less likely this album's going to have like the immediate type factor, like the recommendations. Not to say this album is not good, but it's just kind of pitch as far as saying that's kind of the fair, like the relative kind of reception that he gets within certain aspects. It's kind of the same thing with the 1995 album Gangsta's Paradise. It's the main ones that probably for the most part probably pass Gangsta's Paradise and possibly Too Hot, the other single. One of the other 1 or 2 singles off of Gangsta's Paradise is just less likely. So I just would say within pitch, but it's definitely a real excellent kind of neighborhood crawl type album. Plenty of neighborhood jaunts, snack runs, some of those type fares, politicking with divas and floozies, pitches like that. Just from the just within those ordeals, the night shift type runs, the makeshift crawls, the vehicle bounce, some of these type pitches within format, just house party type bobs, some cool cat kind of strip club type vibes pitches like that, some pot runs, some beer and newspaper type runs pitches like that. So it has the Aaron runs and Bill Payne pitches like that within those ordeals. So excellent type products, just the fair that just has less casual reception. So 9.5 social. In terms of future, the unfortunate thing is Coolio is deceased within those fairs. There's not going to be any more music, but it's just within the products first. And he does have some further type classics. I'm definitely going to get to Gangsta's Paradise soon enough within these pitches, but it's just kind of fair as far as saying this is a blistering type 1 here within the products of it. Just excellent, very vicious debut pitch like that. 90s classic, 90s staple out of G-Funk pitch like that. Is California in its prime zones that fair is a great alternative to Snoop Dogg, Warren G, some of those type folks, and MC Hammer pitch like that. It's excellent with the product. This banner kind of 90s album in the West Coast and just overall in general.